On the campus of High Point University for this Big South Conference matchup between the High Point Panthers and the Lancers of Longwood University on ESPN+. Hello everyone, Jamie Patel, delighted to be joined by Wendell Epps for this evening's matchup between two sides who are on two different sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, Jamie, I mean, this is going to be a very fun matchup tonight. Longwood, they've been struggling this season, but they were able to win their last game, and Thriller won against Winthrop, and then High Point. Obviously, they have been absolutely incredible this season. Record season for them, so look for this to be a very exciting matchup here tonight.
High Point, perhaps a team that are going to be looking to push for the playoffs. They have 2 games remaining. Winning those outright would make them the Big South Conference champions, so something to look forward to for them. But for Longwood, it's a confidence booster for them tonight if they can get a result here, having won against Winthrop in their last time out.
Yeah, Longwood, an amazing win against Winthrop, a win that they definitely needed, so they're able to come in this game with some momentum, which is definitely going to be needed, as we'll now take a look at some key players to watch here in tonight's matchup. Beginning with Longwood, you mentioned Marcus Gronley. He's been a very key force for the Lancers this season. He can score, he can also assist really well, so look for Gronley to be a very vital force here in tonight's matchup.
You mentioned him as well as MD Myers for High Point. High Point's main man in attack. He's scored the most goals for the Panthers this season, and he'll be looking to do so again tonight.
Enough cannot be said about what MD Myers has done this season for High Point men's soccer. Came out of nowhere, started off the season hot, scoring 2 goals in consecutive games to kick off the season. Now MD Myers here at the tail end. You know what he has on his mind. It's to get a Big South championship, and High Point looking sharp at this stage of the season.
Two sides who'll be looking for a win tonight for different reasons. But nonetheless, we're in for an exciting one here from Vert Stadium, and we'll have all the action for you right after these messages. Good evening and welcome into Vert Stadium here in High Point, North Carolina on the campus of High Point University for this ESPN3 coverage of the Big South Conference. It's the High Point Panthers and the Longwood Lancers in tonight's matchup. Hello everyone, Jamie Patel, delighted to be joined by Wendell Epps for tonight's matchup between High Point and Longwood. Two sides on two different sides of the spectrum as far as performances. High Point looking to add to their win tally. Longwood looking to add some momentum that they've already built up.
Yeah, Longwood coming off their last game. They won against Winthrop despite having a pretty sluggish start to the season. They were finally able to find some groove in their last outing. High Point has had a phenomenal season thus far, so this should be an exciting matchup here tonight.
And for High Point, it's a chance to win the Big South Conference. One of 2 games left in this Big South Conference season for them. They should finish top if things go to plan, and perhaps we'll be looking at some playoff games, maybe potentially here at Vert Stadium.
Yeah, High Point would love to not be able to just get in the playoffs, but also be able to host those games, because those games mean so much. As we'll now take a look at some key players to watch here in tonight's matchup. Beginning with Longwood, we're going to take a look at Marcus Grosky. He has been a very versatile player for the Longwood Lancers here this season. He can score. He can also get some assists for you, so look for him to also be a very vital force here in tonight's matchup.
A formidable force, the Norwegian for Longwood, but for the Panthers, it's the New Jersey native, MD Myers. He's scored quite a few goals this season, and he doesn't look like he's going to stop anytime soon.
Jamie, enough cannot be said about what MD Myers has brought to this High Point men's soccer program, especially this season. Started off the season very hot, scoring consecutive goals in consecutive games, and he's someone that is definitely going to be bringing it, especially at Vert Stadium. He loves to play here.
Well, we sure are in for a firecracker of a match here from Vert Stadium in High Point, and we'll have all the first half action for you right after these short messages.
High Point University is focused on preparing students for the world as it is going to be. There's a growth mindset in our institutional DNA. So while our campus growth is impressive, the true relevance lies in how HBU creates an innovative learning environment that fosters the entrepreneurial spirit in the minds, in the hearts, and in the souls of our students. This is High Point University. Extraordinary.
Welcome to Freddy's. What can we get started for you?
I haven't had a carb in 3 weeks, and if I have one more sip of a kale smoothie, I need a Freddy's Original double with cheese, fries, and a turtle sundae. Please.
Coming right up.
If you're gonna be bad, it better be good. Being bad never tasted this good.
Bring it on.
Freddy's, the experience that puts a smile on your face and the taste that brings you back.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
There's not a secret to what actually happens behind the scenes at a bank. Here at First Citizens, we're trying to educate the client in each step of what's actually going to happen and actually have them make the educated decision around what steps and what options they utilize. We want to become that trusted advisor that actually guides them down that road, helping you reach your goals. That's Forever First.
Tired of cooking at home? Change it up without getting up. Just order Jersey Mike's through our app for no-contact delivery or no-contact at-the-door pickup. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
In class or on game day, we compete towards degrees, championships, excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
Stadium here on ESPN3 for this Big South Conference matchup. High Point hosting Longwood in the second to last regular season match for the Panthers. Jamie Patel delighted to be joined by Wendell Epps here in the broadcast position to bring you all the action this evening, and we're expecting High Point to really come out all guns a-blazing.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one here tonight, Jamie. Longwood coming in this game 2-5-1, but they were able to win their last one against Winthrop. But for the High Point Panthers here at Vert Stadium, they are just such a great team. 8-1 overall in the season, so let's see if the Panthers can get off to a hot start here tonight, possibly get a couple goals here in the early minutes of tonight's game.
The Panthers playing in their all-white strips this evening with the Lancers in their all-navy kit. And we can see early on High Point playing the way they want to. Very much a possession-based side, but they can play all different styles of football. Whatever head coach Zach Haynes wants to deploy will usually work out for them. And so far this season, just the one loss, a 1-0 road loss at Liberty University. Just a couple games into the season where they suffered that defeat, and boy, have they bounced back from that.
Yeah, they really bounced back from that very nicely, Jamie. I mean, regarding the whole season, High Point, with the exception of that game against Liberty, they have been absolutely phenomenal, and that just shows you the strength of this Panthers team. They didn't let that loss against Liberty deflate them. It just let them motivate them even more to go out and play hard.
Alex Abril trying to make something happen there after good work on the wing from Nick Phipps, and the goal kick has been awarded for Longwood.
And you got these two teams on opposite spectrums at this point of the season. Obviously, High Point feeling really good about themselves as the season's coming down to a close. But for Longwood, still trying to find some groove. And to be able to come into Vert Stadium and possibly have a chance of upsetting this High Point team would definitely serve as a huge momentum booster for the Lancers.
There's the player to watch for Longwood, who just showed off some of his ability, Marcus Gronley, a Norwegian native who has been really a bright spark in this Longwood team that's had a disappointing season. They are 2-5-1 as of today and 1-4-1 in the Big South Conference. So they'll be looking to improve upon that one win they have, which came in their last matchup against Winthrop. A 2-1 win where they won in the last minute of the game.
Yeah, they won in the last minute of that game. That goal scored by West Force, a defender for the Lancers, so Longwood was able to get some production from an unexpected hero, which is absolutely fantastic for them. And with the exception of that game against Winthrop, I mean, the only other game that they actually felt good in and actually were able to come out with a victory was the game against VMI. But outside of that, Longwood has definitely found some struggles when it comes to scoring and trying to get some victories on the season.
Gronley battling again. The flag was raised on the far side. And High Point will have a free kick. While the odds are against the away side this evening, you do feel that Longwood having some momentum does give them a little bit of an edge in terms of their ability to get a result here at Vert Stadium, but it's been a hard place for any team to come and get a result.
Yeah,
none of the sides have come here and got anything.
They really haven't. I mean, when you come to Vert Stadium, you better come ready to play because this High Point team, they feel so comfortable playing at home. But you mentioned Longwood coming in this game with some confidence. Being able to beat a team like Winthrop in their last game definitely helps them out. So it's a good time for Longwood to play High Point here at Vert.
Sabaki not able to get on the end of that pass from Sebastian Cholbaud. And Longwood now trying to create an attack of their own. Here's Ander Echanis. He's a defensive midfielder from Spain who will stand in between the back two for Longwood. Try and shield them as well as play balls out as the linchpin. He could be a key player tonight for Longwood as well. We're going to have it all to play for against this High Point side who are so good going forward. Alex Abril. And Abril still goes on. And his shot has been collected well there.
Abril, first opportunity to try and attack. But if you're the Panthers, you definitely want to try and go ahead and be able to get some momentum. It's good to get those opportunities to attack. But you mentioned Longwood. They actually have a couple international players on their team. Players from Norway, Germany, England, and Spain. So they got a lot of international guys on this team. And that obviously can help when it comes to the different play styles you have out there on the pitch.
You mentioned the international players for Longwood. It has to be chalked down to their head coach, his 18th season in charge, John Atkinson, a native of Newcastle, England. He'll be very familiar with the same parts of his homeland as Johnny Fennick, one of the technical staff for High Point. As the Panthers look to attack again, Caco Fernandez tried to nod it backwards and there was no Panther player there to collect. Aya Kunle trying to chase that down for the for the Lancers. Now McCrobb finding Justin Dubois. Now it's with Ayeti and Abril. The Panthers patient in their build-up. Fernandez. Now with Sabaki. Cholbaud trying to get on the loose ends here. Might have been a handball. Sabaki goes on! And he rifled a shot that was nearly destined for the top corner. Unlucky there.
Very unlucky, unfortunately, for the Panthers. They had so many opportunities to try and get something, but Longwood was like, it's not happening just yet. So excellent job there by the Lancers to prevent High Point from getting a first goal on the board.
The Lancers trying to play out of the back, but the high press from High Point working ever so well there. As McCrobb nearly was called for a high boot and managed to win the ball. The Longwood players didn't appeal there. And Ayoti will try and switch play here for Caco Fernandez. He clips it in and Ramos collects.
Fernandez seems to be pretty aggressive right now, getting the start tonight, so he's trying to take advantage of his opportunity and show Coach Zach Haynes that he's got something and he can possibly maybe be a consistent starter in the starting lineup for the Panthers.
Hooked away by McCrobb. Grunley let that one run out of play for a throw-in for High Point, or rather for Longwood this time. It's Kalkner, the ever so recognisable German in this side. So far it's been High Point who've really been making the most meaningful attacks, as they'll try and form another one here. Fernandez try to cut inside there. Now Sabaki. Abril's on the far post. Falls the way of Nick Phipps now. Marcy. He'll clip it towards Myers. It was knocked away crucially there by Ahrens. And then McRobb loses out this time to Ayakunle. And then he does well to get a challenge in.
Now that Longwood has possession, this is a great opportunity for the Lancers. Try and take advantage of their opportunities, get on the attack, because the last thing you want to do is give High Point all these chances to try and score.
You feel it's only a matter of time before High Point are able to break through. Once they start building momentum, they don't let up.
Yeah, that's how this Panthers team is. They may come out just trying to figure out what's the game going to be like in the first 10, 15 minutes, but right after that, it's going to translate into some goals for them.
Neat football there by Ayeti and Mason Marcy. Chalbaud left by Marcy for Phipps. Myers! Good save by Ramers to keep out MD Myers. That was a phenomenal stop.
That was a phenomenal stop indeed. MD Myers came flying in there trying to score, but Reimer said, I got it. Not scoring on me just yet, MD Myers. An excellent job there by Longwood. High Point's got to feel so frustrated right now. They've had these opportunities so close, but Longwood's defense has just been coming up too strong.
What a build-up as well to try and find MD Myers. It would have been a wonderful goal had it gone in. I decided the goalkeeper, and that was the opener. Perhaps he'll want that one back. Ayakunle now with some strong play for the Lancers. Ludlow trying to connect with Ayakunle again, and then his cross is collected by Holden Trent. His first action of the evening, the Panthers goalkeeper.
Holden Trent has had just such a phenomenal season for the Panthers coming in this season. First full season as a starting goalkeeper for High Point, and has delivered extremely well. So everyone's got to be pleased on the side of High Point for what Holden Trent has done this year.
Sabaki. Fernandez will try and chase that. It's cleared away by Lake. Ayeti. Marcy finding Alex Abril. Now Sabaki. We'll try and find Fernandez here, who's been lively in the opening minutes of this game. Sabaki's ball. Abril! Well, you knew it was coming. And Alex Abril has opened the scoring for the Panthers.
Was only a matter of time before High Point got on the board. They were on the attack too much. And it was Alex Abril coming up to the rescue right there. Take a look at the replay. The excellent setup by Sabaki. Abril just says, let me shoot this one. Let me score for High Point. Let's get on the board. And the Panthers up top and on the board first.
He'll perhaps be looking at MD Myers saying, that's how you do it. A similar position, a different outcome.
Nothing wrong with showing your teammates what to do every once in a while. That was an excellent setup there by the Panthers. And total team effort there to get that first goal, and that's what you need. But now if you're Longwood, this is why it's so important to try and get off to a hot start to prevent High Point from getting into a groove, because the Panthers are the kind of team where if they score one goal, they're just going to keep attacking right at you.
We've seen many times this season High Point take an early lead and they look to add more right afterwards. They don't waste any time trying to put these games to bed, and you feel that perhaps there could be the same story tonight.
Yeah, this Panthers team obviously especially at this stage of the season, is you already basically know the identity of your whole entire unit. So this High Point roster filled with a lot of great players, 8-1 on the year, ranked 25 in the nation at the moment. So Panthers obviously have a lot of confidence on their side, more confidence in Longwood heading into this game. But if you're the Lancers, you got to be able to try and take away some of that confidence that High Point has right now, especially since they just scored that first goal.
Now Fordyce. Cleared away by McRobb. Fordyce headed it backwards, but MD Myers nipped in, and Kaka Fernandez is on the chase here. And he managed to put Tyreek Lake under enough pressure to win it back. Now Charlbold. Oh, it's still with him! And then saved by Ramers. And again, he's kept Longwood in this game. A goalkeeper for the Lancers having to do so much early on.
He really has. Ramers has honestly been the unsung hero for the Lancers. Wasn't for him, High Point may have more than just one goal on the board right now, but he's staying calm, cool, and collected right there. Any attack that's coming at him, he's ready for it. So an excellent job there by Ramers to prevent a second goal from High Point.
Headed back by Debeau. Now Ayeti. Charlbold. Accelerating away. Abril, it falls for Fernandez. And hit straight at the goalkeeper.
And Fernandez, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to take those shots. He took 5 in the last game that High Point had against USC Upstate, and he only played 37 minutes in that game. So he's someone that when he's out on that pitch, he's going to be ready to take advantage of his opportunities.
McRobb. Lovely switch of play to find Alex Abril. And Kalkner got the interception in.
And if you're the Panthers now, obviously they just scored that goal a few moments ago. Now's the perfect time to keep attacking, try and get a second one on the board so you can show Longwood that you're moving fast in this one.
Oh, Fernandez, lovely bit of skill. Tried to get the shot away. Sabaki! And a crucial block again. The Lancers living dangerously as High Point keep putting the pressure on.
Yeah, Longwood has given High Point a lot of opportunities to attack and shoot. But the Lancers, it seems like at the very last moment, they're doing the right thing to prevent another goal from being scored. But you got to be careful because this Panthers attack is just so dangerous. You can't play games with them. You got to be serious from start to finish when you play them.
Sabaki drops for Dubois. Now Marcy. Was he clipped there? He was. A free kick for the Panthers now. Chanis, the man who fouled Mason Marcy there.
And High Point has already taken 9 shots in this one. Longwood only 1 shot attempted. That's a big difference and a big reason why High Point is already up by 1 and could potentially be up by more if they keep staying on the attack.
Oh, and it nearly fell for Dubois there. Had to be cleared away at the last minute by Butcher.
The energy the Panthers have right now, you can sense it up.
And perhaps they'll take that energy into this corner. Be taken by Mason Marcy. Marcy's delivery towards Abril. Ayeti will have a go. And it's nowhere near the target.
That one went up pretty high, but High Point still standing on the attack. Good to see him doing that. Seems like Longwood feels too comfortable with just letting High Point play that dominant time possession. If you're the Lancers, you got to be able to get the ball on the other side of the field and show some attack on the Panthers' defense.
Kalkner tried to keep it under control and then was fouled there by MD Myers. If you're Longwood, under so much pressure now from the Panthers, how do you regroup and try and find a way through?
If you're Longwood, you just got to go ahead. You can't be afraid. You got to be confident. Even though the records may show that High Point is the better team on paper, you can't let that deflate you. You're the Lancers. You got to play up to your competition. You know what High Point can do. You know they're a really solid team. So if you're Longwood, play like it and just come in this game with confidence. But they got to go on the attack. Only one shot taken so far, nearly 20 minutes in this game. That's not going to be able to cut it for the Lancers if they want to be able to get a win here tonight.
That was a bit more encouraging there from the Lancers, but now it'll be a goal kick for High Point. Put out of play there by Lake. Right around the 20-minute mark now in this first half, and the Panthers leading thanks to a goal from Alex Abril. It wasn't the only chance High Point have had in this first half so far.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous thing about where High Point is right now. They're only up by 1 despite having taken 10 shots. So all it takes is for Longwood to get one clear opportunity, one goal, and it's a tie game. So that's why right now is the perfect time for the Panthers. Stay on the attack. Keep doing what you're doing with that. But you got to find ways to translate those shots you're taking into goals.
Abril is offside there. We're talking about a High Point team that have only conceded 4 goals this season. A handful of those coming here at Vert Stadium. None of them, thankfully, resulting in lost points or lost opportunities for High Point, but perhaps a warning sign that they need to lock it up at the back a little bit more than they have been to try and close out the season and finish as the top seed in the Big South Conference.
Yeah, being able to finish the season as a top seed in Big South Conference would be a huge, huge accomplishment for the Panthers, and that's definitely what they want to do. So even though you're already 8-1, you're starting to get national recognition. You want to be able to finish the regular season off in style. So that's definitely should be the top priority for High Point here tonight and then here for the rest of the season.
Now Longwood looking to try and create an attack. Gronley. Not a bad ball in, but no Lancer player trying to get on the end of that cross.
Yeah, that's probably the best attack we've seen from Longwood so far tonight. They just haven't had that many opportunities, but you'd have to think that it's going to take more than just 1 or 2 players to step up and get on the attack, because Longwood, one of the few teams in the Big South, doesn't really have a consistent leading goal scorer. So you don't really know who that production is going to come from when it comes to the attack.
Longwood were appealing for a handball there off of Dubois, but referee waving that away. Marcy. Phibbs tried to feed it through for Alex Abril. Kalkner did well under pressure. Now Ludlow. He can't seem to connect any passes beyond that. Sobaki. Now Phipps. Chalbaud dropping a bit deeper this time. Kalkner able to intercept. He's been doing well thus far, the young German, for the Lancers in cutting those balls out.
He sure has, and you love to see that energy if you're Longwood to be able to get that production. That's one advantage you have when you have these international players able to bring the little spice out onto the pitch. But the Lancers still just have not been able to get on that attack. High Point has been getting too comfortable dominating the time possession. You're the Lancers. You may want to think about picking up your intensity on the defensive end. Put some pressure on High Point, make them feel uncomfortable a little bit.
McCrubb's ball nearly cut out that time, and Phipps was unable to keep it in play. Oh, and Fernandez trying to capitalize on a mistake there from Aarons. Did really well there to win the ball back for the Panthers. There are signs that Longwood are just starting to create their own problems now.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do if you're Longwood is hurt yourself and make silly mistakes. You got to be able to play almost near a perfect game, especially when you're playing a team like High Point at Vert Stadium. So let's see what the Lancers can do as they try to make some adjustments to climb back into this one.
Ayeti, Chalbaud, now with Myers. Marcy. Phipps will try and deliver the cross. Oh, lovely ball from Myers. Phipps again! Off the post and in! Sebastian Chalbaud has doubled the lead for the Panthers. And that was a scintillating goal. The home side are 2 goals to the good.
A much-needed goal for the Panthers. They were already up by 1, which was great. But to be able to go up by 2, that's what you want to do. And that's what High Point did right there. Chalbaud able to finish that one in style. High Point now leads Longwood 2-0.
That was a brilliant goal. You almost felt that High Point were just happy to try and keep possession there, but just at almost a snap moment there, able to create something and move the ball quickly, get in behind, and what a goal it was.
Yeah, it really was an amazing goal indeed, Jamie, and that's what you got to do if you're the Panthers in that situation. Just look for that maybe half a second to 1 second mark where Longwood may be a little bit dysfunctional on the defensive end. Take advantage of it, and that's what High Point did, and Chalbaud able to score that goal. The junior from Venezuela, he has had a solid season for the Panthers this year, playing a lot of minutes, being a consistent part of the rotation, be able to get a much-needed second goal for High Point that has them in great shape right now here in the first half.
Now Longwood have a bigger task to try and complete this evening. They're going to have to try and get something back and respond quickly.
Yeah, and this is the situation that you were hoping to avoid heading into this one if you're Longwood. Being down by 2 on the road against High Point, it's definitely not an easy situation to be in. But if you're the Lancers, you got to keep fighting, keep playing, because we're at this point of the season where in a couple weeks it's going to be tournament time. Your season's going to be on the line, so you got to treat every game like it's a tournament game. And your Longwood can't be afraid. Got to play hard and up to the competition.
High Point managing to get it away again. Now Alex April, his options on the other side. He tried to unselfishly find them. It was a good block in the end, though, from Butcher that time.
And the Panthers, they haven't really had to put too much energy on the defensive end. They've just been able to control the time possession, so you'd have to think maybe that's helping them with their attack. They're able to feel like they can pick up the pace when it comes to that. And High Point, you can just tell they're just really confident right now, and that's something that Longwood needs to eliminate as quickly as they possibly can.
Won back well by Ayeti. Fitz finding McRobb, so confident on the ball, is the centre half for the Panthers, and that ball from Sabaki right behind Fernandez that time. This is Fordyce. And it breaks down again for the away side. There doesn't seem to be a bit of synergy for Longwood, it seems, in this opening half of the game. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, you can see boatloads of it on display. All the players seeming to be able to know where each other are and able to connect passes so much more coherently.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about this High Point team. They have immense chemistry on and off the field, and they've just been able to showcase it here tonight especially. They've been making some great passes that has resulted in a couple goals for them so far. So that chemistry always so important, not just soccer, but all sports in general, and it's definitely been benefiting the Panthers here tonight and the entire season.
And Brill has a go that time. It took a deflection. Ramers couldn't reach it, and now it'll be a corner for the Panthers.
And Longwood, despite winning their last game against Winthrop, only had 3 corner kick opportunities. So they're a team that doesn't really attack as much as they probably should. So that's been a struggle for the Lancers this season, getting that time possession. High Point, though, great opportunity now with the corner kick, possibly get that 3rd goal of the match.
McRobb nearly got on it, and it'll fall for Chelbord. Brill back into the mix and collected well by Ramers that time. Now Longwood in this position, they lost by this scoreline last year, or 2 years ago rather, in 2019, the last time they played High Point. It was at home match for the Lancers in Farmville, Virginia, where they fell by this same scoreline by 2-0.
Yeah, and High Point scored those first 2 goals in the first half, actually, in that game. So this is kind of a repeat of the last meeting between these two teams.
Force, the man who scored the winning goal against Winthrop for Longwood there, putting the cross in. And we mentioned that record between these two sides. All time, the Panthers lead 11-6-2. And Longwood are on a 6-game losing streak. The last 6 times they've played against this outfit from High Point. Just the 1 draw in the last 8 games. They've never beaten High Point in the conference. And so far, the Panthers are going to maintain that record if they keep playing like they have been tonight.
Yeah, the Panthers certainly been putting on a stellar show here tonight for the couple fans that are here at Vert Stadium, but Longwood has definitely got to feel not so great to know that you've lost all these consecutive games. The series history shows that High Point has been the more dominant team when these two teams go at it, but Longwood still has some time to change.
When you talk about the last 6 games between these two sides, the last time Longwood won against High Point was over a decade ago in 2011. So quite a long time to try and erase the memories, but tonight there's still all to play for with just under a quarter of an hour remaining in the first half. Can Longwood shock everyone here at Vert Stadium? Might try and do so here through Caduce. Cut out by Ayerti. Headed on by Myers. It's a foot race now, and Alex Abril might be able to win it here, but unable to get around Ahrens that time.
Abril trying to get on the attack there, looking for High Point to get their 3rd goal of the match, but you got 14 minutes left in this first half. It's more important right now for Longwood to play well these final 14 minutes, because being down by 2, you want to be able to try and head into halftime with at least some momentum that you can translate into the second half, and the Lancers just can't be afraid to try something new, bring something at High Point that they probably haven't seen much at all or ever this season. So let's see what Longwood can do here as they try and climb back into this one.
Now Kalkner. Etchanis finding Gromley that time. Now it's with Mason Butcher, but given away here. And Kako Fernandez trying to get High Point in a good attacking position now. Ayeti. Now with Phipps. Dubois trying to swing a ball in behind. Marcy. And then he was clipped there. Free kick now for High Point. In a good position to swing the ball in. A number of players that can deliver the ball for the Panthers and try and find a teammate to connect with.
Most certainly. I mean, the Panthers, another dangerous aspect of what they bring to the table is the fact that they got a lot of variety on this team. They got a lot of guys who can do many different things, and it seems like every single game someone else is stepping up, scoring goals, getting assists, whatever it takes to help them have success and win games. So, you're Longwood, you got to watch out for everybody.
Delivered by Marcy and headed away that time by Fordyce. Now Abril. Unable to keep the ball in play that time. Longwood trying to hit High Point quickly on the counter-attack. Etchanis with a measured header. Now with Miles Cooper. Here's Wilkinson finding Gronley. Butcher trying to thread it through. Etchanis holding the ball up now. West Forst. He was cornered there by a combination of Sabaki and Fernandez. Butcher. Longwood able to connect some passes there, but not meaningfully.
Yeah, that possession started off well for the Lancers, but then didn't end right. So if you're Longwood, it's okay to make those great passes, work the ball around, get in the flow, but at the end of the day, you got to find a way to get that one moment where you just go ahead and attack High Point, because the Panthers, they're going to allow the Lancers to just pass it around all day, every day. But Longwood's going to have to bring the heat if they want to try and get a goal on the board here.
There'll be a substitution now for the Longwood Lancers. We'll see Matt Ward of Wilmington, North Carolina coming in to replace Mason Butcher. One of a few changes that have been made for Longwood in this first half. Marcy was clipped cheaply there by Etchanis. McRobb standing over this free kick. We talk about attacking players all the time, Wendell, but Finn McRobb has been quite something at the back for the Panthers this season.
He really has. Finn McRobb, of course, Nick Phipps, we know what he can do back there. Carson Kendall, who has played a good amount this season as well. But you mentioned right there with McRobb. McRobb has really been a guy who has come in this season, has brought a lot of energy for the Panthers, has made some incredible stops on many occasions this season. And you always love having those kind of players, especially at this point of the season when you're getting ready to enter the tournament. You need guys like that who are going to be willing to get those crucial stops, and McRobb is certainly one of those guys.
And you know, Wendell, the thing that really impresses me the most about him is his ability on the ball and how confident he is for such a young man travelling over to the United States to play football, having lived his whole life in Scotland. Playing amongst the professional academies is High Point trying to create another attack. He's just really settled into this team. Chobot! That nearly fizzed into the left-hand corner there, and High Point again threatening.
Yeah, High Point still trying to get on attack. Schallwald again bringing the heat, bringing the force. Panthers would love to be able to extend the lead up to 3 before halftime, but going back to McCrobb once again, I mean, yeah, at a young age to be able to do what he's done this season for High Point, absolutely phenomenal. And it's obviously never easy to come to the States from another country playing college soccer, but he's made the transition look a lot easier than it actually is. And just got to give a lot of credit to McCrobb for his stellar performance throughout the entire duration of the season so far for the High Point men's soccer team.
And now that we finally got that thought out of the way, having had quite a bit of action in between.
We have.
2 substitutions now for High Points is Brady Francher and Ashton Perkins, the man who scored 2 goals in High Point's last win, a road win in probably their biggest game of the season, arguably, on the road in Spartanburg. They won by a scoreline of 2-1 at County University Soccer Stadium, and Perkins here scored 2 of the goals and nearly found another one.
Wow.
Hit the crossbar this time.
How about that? Ashton Perkins coming right in the game, just getting on the attack right away. Says, I'm going to shoot, try to repeat what I did last game. But you're right, Jamie. That last game against USC Upstate, that definitely was a big victory. It concluded what was a pretty long road trip for the Panthers, being away for Vert for quite a while, but they were able to win 4 straight on the road during that whole trip. And that's a huge confidence booster when you can go to schools that are away from you and to be able to play, especially those teams in the Big South, and be able to get wins like that definitely means a lot. But Ashton Perkins, especially having a phenomenal performance last game, I'd expect him definitely to come in tonight and certainly bring the energy we just saw right there with his first shot attempt of the evening.
Might even consider himself a bit unlucky to not have started this evening, but he showed his prowess there, just coming on and finding the target quite nearly.
Hey, some guys can bring that energy off the bench with those fresh legs, you know.
Well, here's one of them, Brady Francher. Chalpord! Oh,
wow.
That's insane! What a finish! You won't see many goals like that in college soccer, but Sebastian Chalpord has chalked up a quite phenomenal finish.
You will not see that often. Not on a Monday, not on a Tuesday. You're seeing it on a Saturday night. Sebastian Chalpord, how about that one? An incredible goal for the Panthers, a much needed one again, because High Point, they're continuing to score these goals, and it's just helping them gain more and more confidence and momentum. Now up by 3 over Longwood. They are really, really in full control right now.
Look at the outrageous touch there. And he knows it as well. And that's just the quality that man possesses for High Point.
It really is. Now that being his second goal of the match, he certainly has been making his presence felt tonight for High Point. And the amazing thing, especially when it comes to playing college soccer here, I mean, you keep scoring goals, you just keep gaining more and more confidence, you gain more and more energy too, and we've seen after every single goal, it seems like High Point's only getting on the attack even more, and Longwood's kind of taking a step back. So the Lancers already down by 3, first half not even over yet, still have 5 minutes left, and you already know what High Point's going to do. They're going to keep trying to bring the heat, bring the attack, but if you're Longwood, you got to be able to switch things up here and try and get that time possession in your favor, because High Point has just been feeling too comfortable when they have the ball in their possession.
Longwood are really underneath it now. 3 first half goals for the Panthers. And need I say again, they're not going to stop there if they can help anything about it.
They are not. This is the last team you want to face being down by 3, because High Point could be up by 5 even, and they'll still be on that attack.
A deep ball that time from Sabaki. Collected by Reimers.
The fact that High Point has taken 15 shots and Longwood has only taken 1 just summarizes what we've seen tonight so far. The Panthers, they're treating it like that soccer ball can just not go in the direction of Longwood. It has to stay with the Panthers.
Chalbord Lovely first touch now with Marcy. Francher did well to flick it on for Perkins. Back for Francher. A good challenge there by Matt Ward to stop the run of Brady Francher. He was in on goal there had he got past him.
Yeah, Francher had a great opportunity there. If it wasn't for Matt Ward to get an attack, get a possible shot off, but nice stop there by Matt Ward. But still got a corner kick coming up here for the Panthers to be attempted by Mason Marcy. And High Point definitely a team that knows how to execute on these corner kicks pretty well.
Marcy delivers, headed up by Kalkner. It'll be a goal kick. It came off a High Point player last. With just over 3 minutes until the halftime break here on ESPN3. The High Point Panthers leading Longwood by 3-0. And really, if you look at the statistics of this first half, there's no surprises there. 15 shots for the Panthers. Just to 1 for Longwood. 4 saves made by the Longwood Lancers goalkeeper. And only 1 for Holden Trent. So really the statistics do tell the story of this game so far.
They really do. And Holden Trent, he's just been sitting back there. Nice and comfy, not having to do too much. Just been letting his teammates do the rest of the dirty work. But that's also because Longwood just has not found a way to get that ball back in their possession. They've been playing too much defense, a little too much, which sometimes is not good and not a good chance that it can result in too many wins.
Marcy, can he keep this in play? He did so well too, and Ramos collected. Nearly found its way to a teammate that time. Davis Biggerstaff is back on the pitch for the High Point Panthers. Having not started this game, Caco Fernandez was the man that he was dropped for in the starting 11 tonight. Now it's with Kalkner again. Ward. High Point doing well to continue pressing on. Ward will try and switch it now and nearly found force that time.
Yeah, High Point up by 3, approaching that final minute. Just seems like Longwood is not in any rush to pick up the pace and try and get a goal before this first half ends, which is interesting. High Point, it's got to be making them feel even more confident than they already were. The fact that the Lancers haven't brought that pressure yet that they probably should be bringing. Not a good sign right now for Longwood.
McGraw battling there. Etchanis trying to thread it through and was headed away by Dubois. Now with Lalas Ayerti. Blocked by Etchanis, but it falls the way of the Panthers. Marcy trying to feed Perkins. Biggerstaff going down. Blocked by Phipps, and that should be the last action of this first half. And at the halftime interval, the Panthers of High Point University lead the Longwood Lancers by a scoreline of 3-0. Quite an impressive performance in that first half from the home side, and disappointing from the Longwood Lancers perspective. We'll have halftime coverage from you here at Vert Stadium in just a moment. A halftime scoreline between the High Point Panthers and Longwood. 3-0 in favour of the home side as we await the second half kickoff here from Vert Stadium. I'm so happy to be joined by Wendell Epps this evening. My name is Jamie Patel here on ESPN3 for this Big South Conference matchup that does matter to both sides, but perhaps for different reasons, as High Point are looking to continue in their winning ways and finish out this Big South Conference season as champions. But for Longwood, it's about trying to build some momentum after their win against Winthrop.
Yeah, definitely different sides for this game. You got one team trying to become the champs, and then another team just trying to find some momentum. And Longwood really felt like this was the game to do so, just because they were able to win their last one against Winthrop. So they were thinking, hey, we beat a team like Winthrop, even though they're not at the top of the conference. We can come and play a team that's at the top of the conference in High Point, possibly have a chance of winning. But for the Panthers, they've been able to take advantage of this game, playing a team like Longwood, who has also struggled, been inconsistent this season. And the Panthers would love to be able to finish this one off in style, and their goal is definitely to become the Big South Conference champions in the regular season.
And it's been a long road for High Point in this odd spring season campaign that we've had, where they had to go on the road for quite a few games and play against some tough opponents, teams who are also battling at the top.
Yeah.
Talking about USC Upstate and Campbell.
4 games on the road for High Point, definitely not an easy task. You mentioned Campbell and USC Upstate, especially the game against Campbell. It's a rematch of last year's Big South Championship for men's soccer, and for the Panthers to be able to go into Campbell and to be able to beat them like that definitely was something that had to be a huge momentum booster for them. So it seems like the Panthers are just taking advantage of their opportunities. They're gaining that momentum when they need to, and they're just coming out and they're having fun. You can tell this High Point team, they're always bringing the energy. They love playing soccer. They love being out there, especially now that we're allowed to have fans here at Vert Stadium. It definitely has helped them out as well. And you mentioned it is an odd soccer season. I mean, a lot of people are forgetting that right now they should not be playing. In a normal season, the soccer season would have already been done for this past year. But for High Point to be out, it's a new season for them, but they have not let that deflate them anyway. They've only let it motivate them to keep playing hard, keep pushing, and 8-1 heading in this game could be 9-1 when it's all said and done here tonight.
There's a lot of leaders as we see the Panthers players all gathering together before this second half of action. 2 of them, Mason Marcy and Nick Phipps, you see there in your picture, will be rejoining the Panthers in the fall of this year. So that is a massive boost for Zach Haynes and his players for what will be the rest of this year. That leadership that they will bring, having gone through this experience and this season, having not even finished yet, to decide to commit, that's quite a bit of astonishment there.
Yeah, it shows you how much they love playing here at High Point, for them to want to come back and keep playing. If you're having fun, you might as well keep doing it. And they're not just going to be able to have Marcy and Nick Phipps come back, but High Point, obviously, with a great recruiting class that will be coming in next year as well. So this High Point team looks like it's only going to get better now that you have guys like Marcy and Phipps who are choosing to stay. Definitely, future's looking bright for the High Point men's soccer team.
Perhaps it would be quite a nice achievement to win a trophy at the end of the season for the players who are departing, as well as players who will be staying.
Anytime is a good time to get a championship, Jamie.
Oh, no doubt about it. I would love to have one for broadcasting at the moment, but
hey, broadcasting championships, I would love that.
Our day will come.
Someday.
Here's Nick Phipps. Part of that love to win a championship has to come from a championship mentality, and every time you see this High Point team play, it's the only thing that's on display is their willingness to win, and to do so in whatever fashion they have to, albeit they stick to fairness and they stick to quality.
Yeah, that's one of the most amazing things about this High Point team, is that they're willing to adapt. They head into different games with different situations and scenarios that they may not be accustomed to, but they don't let it deflate them. They just let it motivate them and to keep pushing. So High Point, just such an incredible season they've had. They're a great team, a lot of talent, but obviously they want to have that championship. This season for them may indeed just go to waste if they can't get that Big South championship. They want to be able to get as far as they possibly can, especially when you're having a season like High Point's having, 8-1 right now. I mean, you really couldn't have asked for a better season for the Panthers in the regular season, but once it comes to tournament time, you know High Point's going to be ready to up their game even more, which is dangerous because they've already been showcasing some stellar performances like they are here tonight against the Lancers.
His biggest off. Now Marcy. Trent able to find Sabaki. He'll fall back here for Finn McRobb. Longwood implementing some sort of pressure now to pin High Point back, and so far it's putting them just under a little bit of exertion.
You gotta have those adjustments, and Longwood seems to be doing that coming out to start the second half, which is a great sign to see, because in that first half they really weren't making any adjustments. They were kind of just letting High Point play the same way they were for the entire 45 minutes, and it resulted in them scoring 3 goals. So let's see if the adjustments the Lancers are making here will prevent High Point from scoring that many goals here in the second half.
It was nearly a great ball there from Holden Trent to find Fernandez. High Point still maintaining possession, and that's a late challenge there. It should be a yellow card for Mason Butcher, a man from Barnsley in England, who has gone into the book, the first player to this evening. Now High Point will try and build up some possession here from this set piece. And Fernandez that time was fouled. And again, it might be another yellow card. This time it goes the way of the man who scored the winner against Winthrop in Wes Forst. 2 players for Longwood in the referee's pocket now.
How about that? Back-to-back yellow cards. That's a pretty interesting sequence there that you normally don't see too much in every single game, but that's the last thing you want if you're the Lancers. You're down by 3. Why would you want to get 2 yellow cards? And you got to think maybe that frustration being down by 3, it's getting in their head now that they're down by a large margin, and for High Point, that just got to motivate you to say, hey, this team is upset right now. Let's take advantage. Let's make them more upset. So this Panthers team definitely has a lot of energy in them. They're always going to be in attack mode, so we'll see what happens here.
It could get worse here for Longwood, as it's left for Chalbold to deliver low that time. It was a very disappointing delivery. And now Longwood trying to counter-attack through Marcus Gronley. Cuts inside brilliantly there. Tried to fake the shot, and the Panthers deal with it effectively. Phipps skipping through now. Marcy. Chalbold. Now Fernandez. High Point not able to connect the right numbers that time in that counter-attack. Biggerstaff. Marcy electing to find Myers. And Ayeti was clattered into there from behind. And Longwood starting to lose composure at the beginning of this first half, which is something you wouldn't expect, but perhaps too much aggression starting off this second half.
Yeah, there's one thing to want to come back in this game while playing aggressive, but you got to do it smartly, and Longwood has just not been doing that to open up the second half. With the 2 yellow cards and then not controlling the ball as well as they probably should on the offensive end, it's really hurting them right now.
Myers nipping in there, trying to find his first goal of the evening.
Yeah, MD Myers didn't score in the last game for the Panthers, but obviously has been a consistent force all season long. Was really one of the main reasons why High Point was able to get off to that hot start, which translated to them getting even more and more wins. I would say Myers and then Holden Trent. You got to look at those 2 guys as sort of being the ones that really kick-started this amazing season that the Panthers have been having.
Myers. Now Chalbold. Great switch of play to find Phipps. Ayeti. Oh, lovely turn from Marcy. And Myers just pulling up there. Not able to receive the pass. Won back well by Biggerstaff. Oh, great turn by Fernandez and burst of pace as well. Feeding it through for MD Myers. Can he score? Oh, that's classic Panthers football. And a celebration to match as well. What a goal that was, and it probably caps off a 4-star performance.
Classic goal indeed. Fernandez with the need for speed, running down the field like there's no tomorrow, then passing it over to Myers, who said, I'm going to fire this one, and I'm going to score a 4th goal. We were just talking about MD Myers, Jamie, and the fact that he was able to come out there and score. Take a look at the replay. Look at MD Myers with the force, the authority, says, I'm going to score this one. We're going to go up by 4. High Point really just in a full groove right now against the Lancers.
We just can't seem to keep MD Myers out of our mouths. He really has put on quite a show this season, and he had to score this evening. Didn't see much of him in the first half, but boy, has he lit up this second half.
Yeah, and you'd have to think that first half performance by the Panthers, getting contributions from a lot of other players, helped Myers motivate him, say, hey, everyone else is getting involved. You know what? Let me go ahead and join this party. We're having fun out here, and MD Myers did just that. So now with 4 goals on the evening as a team, High Point just in great shape, and Longwood just still hasn't been able to find anything. And it seemed like when Longwood was maybe starting to find a little bit of sort of life to try and at least get a goal on the board, High Point just went down the field and they were able to score their 4th goal of the night.
Still quite a ways to go here in this second half, and High Point in full control now, no doubt about it. Can Longwood find something to cheer about here? Gronley. He loses out to Biggerstaff, who was tracking back.
Now High Point's at that stage, obviously up by 4. There's still a great amount of time left in the second half, but the Panthers are in that position where they definitely can slow things down, hold it a little bit. But at the same time, High Point is just one of those teams that's very unique, and they'll stay on the attack even if they're up by 4. So it should be interesting to see the tactic that the Panthers use here as we continue play here in the second half.
Marcy. Biggerstaff has acres of space. Oh, and it's nearly clipped in. Again, the run of MD Myers. Nearly connected that time, and would have found a brace in next to no time.
MD Myers, he's always in that picture there when it comes to the Panthers' attack, and High Point almost had that opportunity to get their 5th goal of the match, but unable to do so there. And let's see if Longwood can find some sort of spark. They haven't had really that stretch yet where they've really been able to feel like they're in a groove. And I know it's hard being down by 4, but for the Lancers at this point in the game, you just got to forget about the score and play as hard as you possibly can.
Fernandez switching into another gear there with his pace and unable to maintain possession of the ball that time. We speak of the number 4, that's the scoreline for this match so far, but this is the 4th occasion where the Panthers have scored at least 4 goals at Vert Stadium so far this season against an opponent.
Yeah, something about being at Vert Stadium that just pumps this Panther soccer team up, and you just got to be ready to play them if you're coming in as a away opponent. But that's definitely going to be a huge advantage for the Panthers, especially if they have the opportunity to host some of the tournament games here at Vert Stadium. Definitely can play a huge factor for them to try and close out the season the way they want it to.
Marcus Gronley will try and create something here for Longwood. Well, it's headed on at the near post. It was a clever corner routine. The ball finally rolls out of play for a goal kick. But Longwood are still showing signs of life here.
Yeah, they are. You can tell Longwood is definitely trying to just figure it out. They haven't exactly figured out what method they want to use to get back in this game, but they're at least trying new things, which is what you want to see. There's a lot of teams that could just put their heads down and be like, forget this, we're down by 4, we're just going to give up. But Longwood hasn't given up yet, which is a great sign to see. And for the Lancers, you still want to be able to try and get some momentum before your final game of the regular season when you take on Radford next Thursday. So your Longwood, just keep on fighting as hard as you can.
Oh, and they are fighting here with a shot on target, and that was saved well by Holden Trent. Encouraging for the Lancers now, down by 4 goals, and they're still managing to get into High Point's defensive half and trying to create something going forward. 1 goal can change the complexion of this game for the away side.
Yeah, it really can. Get that 1 goal to fire you up, get the little boost that you need. And one thing that Longwood definitely has done a better job in the second half than the first is being able to at least prevent High Point from just straight up dominating the time of possession. High Point probably still winning in that category, but not as much as they were in the first half. It seemed like in the first half, Longwood was not getting any opportunities to get on the attack. So at least the Lancers are having more opportunities here in the second half, which could end up translating to a couple goals for them here tonight.
Biggerstaff running into trouble and cleared away by Phipps. And Marcy was clipped there. Dubois trying to spread it for Biggerstaff. Ayeti hoofing that high into the sky.
Had a change of a couple soccer balls these past few minutes here at Vert Stadium, but good to see both teams are still active right now, trying to fight for possession.
Dubois heading away again for the Panthers. Charbod was battling there with Ander Chenis, and then Myers running into the goalkeeper, trying to get a shot on goal, and then Fernandez dragged down cheaply there by Owen Ludlow. And he had to make that challenge. His goalkeeper's well off of his line. You know, had he not, Fernandez probably would have tried to put that into an empty net.
Yeah, I was going to say, High Point, you might as well just shoot it while you have the chance. And then Fernandez gets pushed down. Maybe didn't deserve to get pushed out like that. But nevertheless, High Point will retain possession here and have a free kick opportunity.
We saw a free kick in a similar position when High Point took on Wofford. And Mason Marcy rocketed it against the crossbar. If you do remember, Wendell, that was quite an effort, and he's standing behind this free kick with Sebastian Chalbaud as well. Could we perhaps see a similar routine?
Yeah, we were both on the call for that Wofford game. I definitely remember that.
And there it is, and oh! He's done it!
You called it!
What more can you say about Mason Marcy?
Deja vu. Mason Marcy coming up there. 5th goal of the night for the Panthers. They're having fun. That's probably the best celebration we've seen all night. Everyone getting in there, dabbing each other up, having fun. High Point, man, just feeling it. Mason Marcy, an absolute rocket, kicking that one straight into the goal.
Ice in the veins of Mason Marcy, but a rocket in the boot.
Pew!
25 yards out, and that couldn't be more in the top corner than it was. It almost looked as though it ran away from him.
Yes, Mason Marcy. I mean, that was, we know he has a leg, and he took advantage of that opportunity right there to get that 5th goal of the match. And High Point, this is the time where you can afford to do things like that. Mason Marcy kicking it from that deep, and how about that Panthers up by 5 with 31:02 left here to play at Vert Stadium.
As we're waiting the reset here. But now the Panthers are 5 goals to the good, and really this game is set for another Panthers win.
Yeah, it would be hard for Longwood to try and climb back because High Point is just it's not the fact they have 5 goals, it's how they scored those 5 goals. They've been scoring it in style, and the fact that they've taken 20 shots, Longwood's only taken 2, that's definitely been a big factor and a huge reason why High Point is up the way they are right now.
I was speaking earlier to a fellow broadcaster here at High Point, Angelo Petruzzi, about squeaky bum time. I apologize for my squeaky voice time, but quite some excitement there in that goal, and really that's a special one. I haven't seen something like that at Vert Stadium in quite some time, and that was just simply brilliant.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get when we're here at Vert Stadium. It's been a busy day of HPU athletics. Started off today with the men's lacrosse game, then you had a women's soccer game. The High Point team was able to win in both. Now you got men's soccer and this Panthers team rolling. And Vert Stadium certainly the place to be here on this Saturday night. High Point just cooking out here on the pitch.
And of all the games to be here at Vert Stadium to witness this High Point men's soccer team tonight would have been the night. You can't really say any of the goals were undeserving of a round of applause, but none less than that last goal we just saw from Mason Marcy. But it's been a class act from the home side tonight, and Alex Abril just struggling here with a knock that he just took, but really it's been a perfect match for the Panthers.
It has, and that last goal honestly still deserves a round of applause. If you've been clapping since that goal was scored and you're a Panthers fan, I don't blame you, because that was definitely a very incredible goal, as Abril still down, but looks like he's getting up now, which is a great sign to see. But you mentioned this men's soccer team, and they've been special. It's one thing to have a solid record heading into tonight, but it's another thing to show it, especially for the fans that may have not watched that many games this season. They picked the right night to come to Vert Stadium and see the High Point Panthers men's soccer team live in action.
Biggerstaff blocked behind for a corner.
And it's just amazing to see, even though High Point's up so big, they're just not done yet. Like, they just want to keep on attacking. They want to keep on getting those opportunities. I mean, they've already taken 20 shots. The way they are right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they get close to 30 or even more than 30 when this match is all said and done.
Abril. His low ball is cleared away. And perhaps now, with this scoreline, does Zach Haynes bring on some substitutes of players who typically aren't in the starting 11 for his side, give them some opportunities to show them what he can do?
I would definitely anticipate for Coach Zach Haynes to do that, Jamin. I think it would be a smart thing to do, especially at this stage of the season. You just never know, especially with this season being so unusual, and then obviously there's still the chance that maybe players may get injured because injuries are part of the game. You want to make sure that everyone in your roster is ready to play, and it'd be a great experience for them, especially in this game because everyone's been clicking.
And Abril that time blazing it over. The Panthers are purring here at Vert as they continue to press on and try and find more goals. They lead the country in goal difference. 24 goals scored before tonight's match. Make that 29 now with just the 4 they've conceded. That's better than any team in NCAA college soccer.
And that's exactly why High Point got that national recognition, now officially ranked. And they deserve it because they bring the energy every single game, and honestly probably one of the more dangerous and talented attacks out of any team in NCAA Division I men's soccer.
Now Chalbaud going over, and the referee stopping the clock as he took a tumble there.
You just hate to see that from Schalbold. He's had such a stellar performance tonight. That's just the last thing you want to see. You're up 5 already. You don't want to see some of your consistent starters go down, but it looks like Schalbold, he's up, which is a fantastic sign to see.
There's a card coming out of the pocket here for Tosin Ayokunle, and he's been booked. You can see the discipline that Zach Haynes has instilled into the side. No yellow cards for any of his players tonight. Meanwhile, for the away side, they've just been frustrated and they haven't really found a way to let that out in good bit of attacking play, but rather in fouls. And as a result, they have a few players who are tugging the line here with the referee. And they need to be careful before this match ends, because the last thing they need is players being suspended as the Panthers come again. No penalty given as Biggerstaff went down. Myers will collect. Biggerstaff, he couldn't wrap his foot around it.
Panthers had a couple opportunities there to get something, but you mentioned the fouls, Jamie. Yeah, Longwood, 10 fouls tonight. It's interesting because in the last game, Winthrop had 21 fouls compared to Longwood's 8. But now tonight, it looks like the Lancers are going on the other side. They're copying sort of what Winthrop did, just copying the wrong thing. And obviously being down by 5 doesn't help. It's hard to have a positive mindset when you're down by that much. But the sign of a true dedicated athlete is someone who can still forget about that score, keep playing until the end of the game, because you got to do that, especially at this stage of the season. You know you're approaching tournament time. You got to be ready, and you can't let little mistakes, you can't let being down deflate you in any way. You got to let being down motivate you to keep pushing and try and come back.
McRobb. Spoken to head coach of the Panthers, head coach Zach Haynes, a number of times early on in this season, and one of the things he mentioned to me is taking things game by game. And really, that's shown. They attack every game the same and try and get the same results and get big victories when they can. And they'll be looking to maybe do that again in their final matchup in this Big South Conference next week against UNC Asheville. That is quite a big game at Task. The Bulldogs of UNC Asheville performing quite well this season. They've had many critics in previous seasons before, but they'll come here to Vert Stadium looking to upset the Panthers, who are riding really high right now.
They really are, and that's definitely setting up to be a fantastic matchup next Thursday when UNC Asheville comes to town. And that's the beauty of Big South Conference play. You play these teams for quite a while now. You know what they're all about. But then going back to what you said about Zach Haynes, about how taking one game at a time, that's the right approach that you always need to have. And if you take that approach the right way, it's going to pay extreme dividends. And for High Point, it has. Seems like every game, they're just using what they did in their last game to help motivate them and also to help learn some new things that they possibly can bring out onto the pitch.
Kalkner tried to get underneath it. Biggerstaff will chase him down and then foul him as well. That was a good play there from the German. And now a free kick in a promising position for Longwood.
Longwood would love to be able to get at least one goal on the board, just something to show that they didn't give up.
Deep delivery, it's beaten, Holden Trent. A mistake from the Panthers goalkeeper, a rare one. And Mason Butcher has put that underneath the crossbar and put tiny bit of gloss off of the scoreline for the home side.
Wow, Butcher, that was an insane goal he just took right there and was able to make. And then I guess Longwood, they're still down by a lot, so they didn't celebrate as much. But this was just an incredible goal. I mean, look how deep of a shot that was. That is not an easy shot to get, especially over someone like Holden Trent, who did everything he could to possibly save it. But Mason Butcher, the freshman, how about that? Excellent goal there for Longwood.
My gut feeling tells me, Wendell, that it looked like a cross from Butcher, and perhaps he wasn't trying to score from there, but he'll be happy nonetheless scoring a goal like that, however intentional it might have been.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the game, take what you can get.
The players of High Point and the coaching staff as well will be disappointed with that, as they look for clean sheets whenever they can get them, and they've done a good job of that so far this season. But there's another goal conceded here at Vert Stadium. But perhaps won't have a massive effect on the result of this match tonight. Marcy finds Phipps. Marcy again. And a good save that time by the Longwood goalkeeper. And there has been a goalkeeping change. It's actually Lucas Muller, the young Scotsman, who was able to stop that effort from going in.
Was a nice stop there by Muller, coming in now with the goalkeeping change, but High Point still looks like they're on the attack now at 23 shots. They're definitely keeping the intensity rolling here at Vert Stadium.
Just over 20 minutes to play in this match, barring some incredible and improbable comeback from Longwood.
Yeah, you're the Panthers. You just want to be able to finish off this game as quickly as you possibly can and do it in smart and great fashion.
Alex Abril returning to the action here as Davis Biggerstaff will come off. Myers trying to maintain possession under pressure, but a free kick has been awarded to Longwood. Now, how important is it that the Panthers don't lose composure here?
It's very important, Jamie, because it's more important because of what High Point's record is right now. They're a team that has eyes on them right now. They've gotten this national recognition, so they're going to have a lot more teams across the country looking at them, scouting them, because you never know when you might face this High Point team. And you're the Panthers. You got to show everybody that we're a team that's going to fight from start to finish. Even if we're up by 5 goals, we could be up by 10 goals. We're going to keep playing. We're going to keep fighting hard, and we're going to do what we need to do to try and pull out W's in any game we play in.
Hooked away by McRobb. Under Chanis. Forced, trying to thread it through, and then Finn McRobb able to defend again that time with ease. The Panthers just trying to slow this game down, trying to crush any momentum that Longwood might have built up there. Marcy. Chalbaud. Now with Francha. Fernandez. High Point happy to keep possession and not try and force anything at this point.
It's definitely a smart tactic to do right now if you're the High Point University Panthers, especially since Longwood just scored not too long ago. High Point, that may have made the Panthers feel like, let's actually just slow things down a little bit and not rush, especially since we're up pretty big.
Marcy. Ayakunle trying to win it back for the Lancers. Now with Fernandez. Drops now for Dubois. Fernandez. Jinking his way along. His shot was blocked. High Point maybe making another change here in just a moment and try and get some fresh legs on. The majority of the players on the pitch started this match. They've played throughout.
Yeah, getting those fresh legs into the game, Jamie, may actually help High Point get a goal or two on the board to extend their lead even more. And that also would just be a great experience to get some of those guys that may not play as much out on the pitch and have an opportunity to showcase what they can do.
Headed back by Ayeti. He's been another solid performer this season for the Panthers. Almost an unsung hero with the way that he has put in a shift every game for the Panthers this season. Myers was being held back there, but the referee didn't get a good look at it. Fernandez's ball comes off the heel of Myers that time as High Point tried to break. Now it's with Ahrens. Trying to find Ayakunle. And Holden Trent just buying a bit of time as the clock winds down. 15 minutes remaining now. Knocked forward by Scholbord as Abril was chasing there. Alex Debril using his pace. And the substitutions will be made as Longwood also make a change. The goal scorer, Mason Butcher, will come off. Perhaps that might be his final involvement of the evening as Nick Phipps will come off for High Point. He's replaced by Eric Miller. Or rather, that is actually Cooper Linfelt, who's came in to fill that right back position.
Yeah, so now we're starting to see some guys from the bench coming in now for the Panthers. We're also seeing it for Longwood. It's a good opportunity for both sides to get some substitutions in and just see what those guys on the bench can bring to the table, coming in fresh, ready to rock and roll. So should be an interesting 13 minutes and 52 seconds as we wrap up the final moments here at Vert Stadium.
Myers. Cholbord. Marcy left it for Francher. Still with Marcy. Francher's ball in. Myers with the header. And it's straight at the goalkeeper Muller that time. A disappointing finish there. He was all alone, MD Myers.
Yeah, he was. MD Myers nearly had an opportunity there to get another goal on the board, which would have been fantastic. It's good to see, though, that High Point's still feeding MD Myers, so he knows whenever he's out on the pitch, no matter what the score is, he's always going to be involved in some fashion. And for Longwood, that's got to feel a little nerve-wracking because we know how talented MD Myers is, and for him to still be on the attack with High Point being up 5-1 definitely can be pretty dangerous.
Dubois finding Francha. Now Caco Fernandez getting up to speed and trying to find the run of Myers, but his cross straight at the goalkeeper.
I'll tell you, Fernandez, he's been extremely active here tonight. He was able to get the nod in the starting lineup, really took advantage of it. He's making his presence felt. He's a fast guy out on that pitch and someone who has certainly contributed extremely well here tonight for the Panthers.
Kunle going down there. No foul given. And number 9 for Longwood still down at the moment. And the Panthers will let that run out of play as Kunle will have some medical attention brought over to him. Might just be suffering from a bit of cramp at the moment. Perhaps a chance for a breather for both sides, who have really put in a lot of effort into this match. It's really paid off for the Panthers, who have worked for this result. It hasn't been easy. The quality of the goals really just showcasing that.
Yeah, it really is. Both teams have been having to work extremely hard. High Point working hard to get the goals. It's paid off for them, but then Longwood trying to continue to climb back into this one. They've been having to put a lot of effort. But you mentioned High Point, what they've been able to do. They've earned all 5 of the goals that they have. And even Longwood, the 1 goal that they got, they earned that one as well. So we've definitely seen some stellar play, obviously more from High Point here tonight. But it's definitely been a very exciting one, and it really shows you what this High Point team is all about. Sometimes it may take you a couple games to really figure out the identity of a soccer team, but this High Point Panthers team, what they've done tonight, they do this consistently. This is not just a fluke. This is what they're all about. They are a team that comes ready to play from start to finish in every single game.
Davis Biggerstaff and Ashton Perkins have entered the fray. As unfortunately for Tosin Ayokunle, he will probably not see out the rest of this match. Instead, we see Michael Kadus re-enter the action for Longwood. As Miller tried to find Perkins, but it was a handball off of Perkins that time. Ward. Now it's with Fordyce and Ward again. And Ward continuing on. Fordyce nearly cut out by Cholbord. And then McRobb cut in there, and now it's with Fernandez, who was knocked over there by Fordyce. Another free kick and another opportunity for the Panthers to see this game out. Just over 10 minutes to go. Biggerstaff. And Perkins with a low delivery, and had Abril been there, he probably would have tucked that away for a 6th goal.
Yeah, came so close there. Perkins on the attack. Abril just not quite at the right place at the right time. But High Point, 26 shots compared to Longwood's 4. Now 10 minutes left, so Panthers still trying to possibly hit that 30 mark in shots attempted here tonight.
Abril. Trying to turn the corner there on Tyreek Lake, but unable to do so that time. Another change now for Longwood. Luke Farber switching sides there with Sawyer Meehan. And a few changes as well for the home side, as Alex Abril, Sebastian Chalpot and Lawless Ayeti all come off. Uzi Guy has come on that right-hand side. Brady Hoffaker also entering the action. And we see Eric Miller coming in as well for the Panthers.
Yeah, and you got Gunnar Siegel out there now in goal for the Panthers, replacing Holden Trent. Job well done tonight. So all the starters for the Panthers now getting a well-deserved rest and a great opportunity now for some of these new guys coming into the game to show Coach Zach Haynes what they got.
Also gives a chance for the starting 11 players to have a rest after putting in a dominating performance here tonight.
Yeah, much needed and a much well-deserved rest for those Panther starters. Obviously, they've played a lot of minutes, not just tonight, but all season long, and especially with the tournament coming up for the Panthers very soon. They want to be able to make sure they're as fresh as possible, and this being their second to last regular season game, this has certainly been a great performance for them thus far, and they're hoping to carry the momentum here tonight into next Thursday's game against UNC Asheville, and then obviously the Panthers would love to be able to finish out the regular season on this massive win streak that they currently are on.
And the importance is so vital for the Panthers to be able to rotate their side like this going into big games towards the end of the season, trying to see the season out. It is honestly quite a nice luxury as well to have not only a rotation of players to switch out, but quality options as well when you do switch them.
Yeah, I mean, these are the guys coming in right now. They can play. They certainly can play. And this High Point team, very deep. They got a lot of weapons that they can turn to, and that's really just the dangerous thing about them. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring here in the final 6.5 minutes. While the outcome of this game may be decided, what we're going to see next is not, because these players certainly have a lot of talent.
Linfeld. Now McRobb. Fernandez. McRobb again. Lofted line this time for Perkins. Fernandez having to go wide to Uzi Gay now. Set up for Biggerstaff, and it troubled Muller that time, but he got down well to stop the shot from getting right underneath him.
Nice attempt there by Biggerstaff, so it seems like Panthers still getting on the attack, but let's see what Longwood can also do here in the final 5 minutes of this one, see if they can try and get one more opportunity to possibly get another goal on the board here.
Referee blowing a whistle there. Will be a free kick now for Longwood. Rather be a throw in. Tyreek Lake will take once the substitution is made for the visiting side. And our player to watch for Longwood, Marcus Gronley, will take a seat now for the remainder of this game, perhaps. Justin Gates, his replacement. throw in for the home side, who will be in no hurry to take it. One back well by the Lancers now. And the foul given there. That was Caduce making the run forward there.
Yeah, so now the Lancers have a chance here. Possibly try and get a second goal here. High Point trying to prevent that from happening. But it's good to see that Longwood, they still been putting the fight in. They still been doing what they need to do to at least stay in this game and at least keep on fighting and not giving up. That's always a great sign to see. You love seeing that. And the Lancers, even though it's been a tough night, they haven't given up.
Few players standing over this set piece. Can they conjure something up? It's Caduce. And it's a tame effort. Bouncing well into the hands of Siegel for his first touch of the evening.
Yeah, and Siegel probably actually wants some shots being thrown at him so he can get those reps in and showcase his ability to make some clean saves as he did right there.
Linfeld sending it long. Hoffaker chasing. And Perkins as well. Trying to use his immense pace to get in behind. Headed up by Dubois, then by McRobb. Fordyce. Ward. Nearly cut out by Perkins there. Ward. Cleared away by Dubois. The away side, Longwood trying to desperately get something going now in these final few minutes. Try and eat into this deficit a little bit more. There's David Rodriguez. Ward nearly missed it. Fordyce cleaned it up.
This is probably the most fast I've seen Longwood play all night. They're moving that ball around very nicely. See if it can translate into something.
Now Lake. Did well to send that through the legs of Cooper Linfeld that time. There'll be another goal kick now for the Panthers.
Yeah, so the Panthers look like they're going to be able to walk out here victorious tonight. It's been a fun one for them. I mean, they've really, from start to finish, they've been in it. They've been in attack mode. They've been in the groove, and probably one of the more complete games that this Panthers soccer team has had all season long.
Sent long by Francher. Perkins trying to nip in there as well. McRobb. Now Miller. Well, there really isn't much more that you can say about that scoreline. The Panthers dominant and victorious 5-1 winners over the Longwood Lancers in this Big South Conference match. Vert Stadium becoming a fortress. And Wendell, what did you make of that performance?
What I made of that performance is that this High Point men's soccer team is something special. They really have a lot of guys who could truly do it all, and it was a total team effort here tonight, able to come out here, ready to fight, ready to play. And you mentioned Vert Stadium, just such a tough place to play. So UNC Asheville, they're the next opponent that will be coming here to Vert Stadium. They better come ready to play because this High Point men's soccer team, they got a lot of weapons and they can truly do a lot.